Hey guys, welcome back to Release the Craftin. Still here with another, well, day of Moss in the Scratic, even though it's not an actual day of Moss in the Scratic, because Moss in the Scratic ended the day before, hopefully, at the time of when I posted this, if not a couple of days ago. Either way, hey, how's it going? How are you? Are you guys doing great? I'm doing pretty swell, all things considered, in the universe and my own world today. Hi. So, at any rate, I thought I would come in here and do like a recap of everything I made for the month of hashtag Moss in the Scratic. If you are just now joining me, what was it like wherever you were? How did you come here? I appreciate you stopping by. But Moss in the Scratic is a month-long scrap busting ephemera making challenge that I hosted for the month of January. And before I get too deep into it, for the people who have asked or thought about it or speculated out loud, I think I will be doing this again next year. It seems like a good January refresh, so I had a good time. We'll be doing it again. All that to say is that, unfortunately, I do not know if I will be doing Fanguary again this year, because I have a challenge in March I'm also preparing for. And also, your girl just kind of needs a break. Daily videos is a lot. Is as rich and rewarding, and you're going to see in a second, scrumptious of an experience. Your girl needs a break. I might, if you guys want, put out the prompt list for the people who are interested in doing Vanguary. It's only a 7-day challenge, and I can put on a nice little pretty list with some nice good prompts up there, and I will absolutely watch and follow along for anybody who does want to make. But let me know if you guys want that. I'll make that for you, but I do not think I have the ability to participate in Fanguary this year. But I don't want to leave it on the table for those of you guys who want to do it, because I do want to do it again. It's just this was a lot. And I did not, I was not as far ahead as I had kind of hoped to be in order to do Fanguary, so your girl's taking a break, and then I got to get rolling on to the next one. So yeah, either way, if I do Fanguary, put out the prompts, words are really hard, for you guys, or not, I will be coming back with another challenge for March, so you can look forward to that as well. So yeah, just off the top, because I usually bury these at the end of videos, because I'm not good at planning stuff. Thank you guys for watching and joining and all the things. This has been an amazing experience. It's kind of crazy. I'm talking to some of my mutuals, and it's honestly, I got more subscribers in this month than I got over the entire course of last year, which is wild. It's so crazy. So all of you guys who showed up and started watching, all the new people, all the new faces, hi, welcome, thank you for joining me. This was just such a fun challenge, and then to like see this like influx of people just sort of swarm in was amazing as well. So like super grateful, super blessed for that. And so I'm just really excited. A bunch of new people joined the challenge that I've never seen before either. So definitely make sure that you're checking out the hashtags, check out the description box, because there's a playlist in there with all these cool people who made cool things for this challenge, and they deserve to be looked at as well. There's a lot of great art, and some people are still doing their prompts and stuff. So there's still more videos and stuff to watch if you're looking for more inspiration, or just, you know, some nice ways to fill your day. I will continue to add videos that get posted, even if they're late, to the playlist, so that everybody's videos who wants to participate ends up there, so we can see everything. So yeah, just want to say thank you to you guys who are joining me. Thank you to all the new people who joined the challenge, and then also thank you to the people I know, my regulars, my regular schmegulas. I love you guys. You're my favorite people, and I could not be doing this without you. So I really appreciate it. I talked about it before. Like, my big thing was wanting to sort of foster community, and so seeing my community come together for like a challenge is amazing. It's exactly what I want. So thank you guys for that. I just really, really overwhelmed and grateful for the response to this challenge, and I'm excited to share my art with you guys going forward for the course of this next year, and see all the cool things that we make. But right now, we're going to see the cool things that we have made for the month of January, and I'm going to stop rambling. Also, I have a Patreon. You want to just check that out. It's in the description box below as well. I do cool stuff over there, too. Moving on, so I have my prompt list here, and actually I have a misprint on the back where I wrote down everything I made so that I would know what I made. Is it going to be the same names as the stuff that I called? Probably not. I don't know. But you guys, look at this. This is everything I made. This is all of it. Every single piece in this box. There's actually space for more stuff, which is good, because I have more stuff to make. Because I realized as I was like making sure everything was in order, that I have a staggering amount of pockets that need tags, and I have tags that don't fit in those pockets. So yeah, I'll be working on that for sure. But look at how delicious and scrumptious and delightful this box is. So let's get into it. Let's go together. Let me put this list where I can see it. I just put it up there like I didn't need to read it. So for day 1, the prompt was rust. And I made these rusty labeled ATCs. Look at how fun these are. These are so great. I don't know if you guys can see. So we made, these were the rusty parts, and then this was all like rust colored, rust inspired. But we made these little like ATC cards that you could actually journal on if you wanted to. And they are delightful. And that was day 1. I came out of the gate swinging on day 1, which like really set the bar high for the rest of the month, which is good because I wanted to set the bar high for the rest of the month. Granted, I did hit a point where I was like, the bar is too high. And yeah, I had to walk that back a little bit, but it was good. It was good to come up at this level of stuff. So for day 2, the prompt was corrugated, and I made these, well, I wrote down gilded corrugated snippets. They're basically just little clusters. I made a couple of clusters. Clusters were popular here. But I used some corrugated cardboard, some embossing powder, some ink, some stamps, some great like fabrics. And we made these little like corrugated dudes. Look at that. Delightful. And I used that vintage mix of silver and gold embossing powder that I made accidentally and then decided was vintage looking. It has been super delightful to use. It's been my favorite embossing powder mix so far. In fact, I will probably do it again on purpose this time. But I'll add like a little bit of black just to grunge it up a little bit more. Get it a little bit more vintage. But otherwise, yeah, beautiful mix. I love it. I love it a lot. Day 3, the prompt was packaging, and I made this like cover plate. It is 3-dimensional. It was made out of an old brush, like packaging plastic. And we used some aluminum foil tape, inked it up with some alcohol inks, and made this sort of, I forget what you call them. You know, like a taxidermy display of butterflies? You know, like with the little pin, except I didn't use a pin because it's not that deep. But a little display of a moth. That's what we did in here, and I love this. I think it's so fun. I like the dimensionality of it. I like the fact that the leaves are sort of doing their own thing in there. They're lifted, so there's some movement. I like all the layering. I like this metal piece. It's actually funny because I am, to answer the question, I am working on a book to put all this stuff into, and I don't think this is going to make the cover for that either. So I have an extra cover piece, which is totally fine. It's not a big deal. And then day 4, the prompt was tattered, and I made tatter moths, which are just lace moths. I made moths out of lace. Oh, they're so cute. And I did go back off camera and add the paper clips to them. So they are officially paper clips. And if I had to do one thing different, I would have given them better defined heads because I just sort of gave them like torsos and no head. But then I felt like they needed a head, so I went back, and you can't see because it's black, and added a little twisty wire antenna. Which, like, I really kind of wish I had pipe cleaners because I think, like, you can, like, trim those down and make them look more like the fluffy antennas that moths have, or some species of moths have. But, like, these are also really cute and really whimsical, and I love them. I love them so much. I think the antenna was the perfect touch. And also, like, once I put the paperclip on and then stuck it on this card, I was like, oh, yes, they needed this paperclip. The paperclip was perfect. So the tatter moths, like, just freaking delightful. They were in a bag, so they got all smushed up, because before I put them in this box, I had everything in a bag. But otherwise, they're just so fun. I think they're so cute. Which is really funny, because I don't think I made anything else that was particularly cute, but these were cute. So yeah, that's what we made for day 4. The prompt for day 5 was verdant. So I made these bulb pin charms. These little dangle charms to go here. I stuck them in this card so they didn't get lost. But they're made with a leftover bezel thing, and then some UV resin focus, which I added some green foliage to, and then we have some foliage in the beading and a tree If I could just pick like a level, right? Like that would help. So I went for the prompt like in the literal with like plush with leaves, but also the color, verdant and green, to make these little charms. And I used some stickers I got from Sticky Club as our little moth element in there. So those were super cute. I guess it is important to say, Moths in the Scratic was a scrap busting ephemera making challenge. It is not a moth themed scrap busting ephemera making challenge. It's more of a scrappy attic. Like, get in there, see what you can find. The moths are supposed to like represent the stuff that you find in the attic, you know, of your scraps. But I love moths, so I did moths as an extra theme. And I also challenged myself with only using plain scraps from my plain scrap box because I have an abundance of those. So that was my additional challenge. None of those things were part of the actual challenge, which was just to make stuff out of your scraps. For day 6, the prompt was splatters. And I made these fabric belly bands out of some muslin waxing strips that I got at like Goodwill. And we definitely splattered them, if you can see. They are abundant in splatters. And they're like sort of travel story themes. So like that's what I was thinking about when I made these. The pictures sort of being the focal point, and then the little bits and pieces being stuff that you collected on this trip and like brought back. So like, yeah, there was that. I also got to test out using some rub-ons on the fabric, which was great because it came out fantastic. I covered up most of them, but the parts that you can see, there's a gramophone, is neat. So yeah, I really love this. I love it a lot. These were fun to make, and they're going to make really cool belly bands. Delightfully splattered. Look at that little like group of people on vacation. Isn't that cute? And yeah, they're also deliciously grungy too, so I love that. Up next after that, oh, we did shine. And for shine, we made crystal paper clips, little fabric paper clips. And I did that by cutting what's it called? Holographic vinyl with a die cut in a crystal shape. Because I had like some heart print vinyl that I wasn't going to use, so that was part of the scrap. The fabric was also a scrap. And then I cut the leaves out of scraps too. So we used some scrappage here and did it up. But now we have these shiny, fun, like crystalline type deals. I think I did the tops with glossy accents. I'm pretty sure. I don't think I did the UV resin. I think I did glossy accent on the top. There's the next ones. I don't really want to pull them off this card. Being a little bit lazy. This one's upside down because I did 4 one way and like 2 the other. I don't know why. But there's another one. And then the last one. And I love these. I think the little buttons, the little found bits coming all together looks great. These were really fun. And then, what's next? After shine, the prompt for day 8 was blush. So I made clusters, which is what I wrote down. They're more like clusters on a card. But we used some blush colors. This is like a rose gold watercolor paint on top of these with the rose gold embossing powder back here. Because this experiment failed, but we managed to salvage it in the end. So that worked. I used some little scrappy bits of like fabric, some of the leftovers of that printed on like muslin, made it in here, some types of stuff, stuff and things and stuff. This is actually copper, but I think it fits the blush color because it's such a light, like pretty color, leaning more into like the pinky tones of copper, like a brand new penny, than the older like grungier types of copper, like an old penny. And we have this one, which I love. It's got that fantastic tiger moth on it. And then for day 9, the prompt was a spark. And this is my favorite piece still of the entire challenge. This is actually, or it was, an envelope that has been repurposed. It could be a really great like cover piece for a book, but I'm keeping this piece. It's not going to make it into anything because for this spark, I made a light up envelope. So the little light turns on and I love it so much. I can't even begin to describe how much I love this, you guys, but it is staying with me because I can't give this up. It's like my baby. And I love it. And I reused some packaging, used some washi tape on the edges, some alcohol ink to grunge it all up. There's great moth on top of it with this like moth-eaten fabric, which is actually like a plastic type fabric that they wrapped a mattress in, like a mattress topper, not the actual mattress came in this, but yeah, that's what I made it with. I made it with a bunch of junk and scraps, and it came out to be my favorite piece of all because it lights up. Like, let's be for real. I'm a very simple person. I like a shiny light. Oh, it's the wrong direction. That's why it's not turning off. Oh, well, makes sense. But yeah, that's what we made for Spark. And then after that, we did messages, and I took these index cards and made them like sort of artsy with these little scraps of paper that I covered in foil tape and then inked up with some alcohol ink and made these like compositions, these lettering compositions, because the message is like postal, like postage, you know, like these would be like postcards that you send in the mail. And then I don't know, I wanted something like industrial vibes, modern art-ish type of thing. And I really love these. I think the shine on them is delightful. The colors, the textures, the fact that you can like feel the art. There's embossing. And then you can still journal on the back because they're still really relatively flat. Words are so hard today. Yeah, that's what we made for messages, and I love it. And that's just 10 days in, and I haven't even made a dent in this box. Let me show you guys. We're this far in. This much to go. For day 11, the prompt was gilding. And we made these gilded bookmarks. I don't know why I couldn't remember the word I was reading. I used some gilding foil and some gilding embossing powder. And I will tell you guys right here, the reason I hate this embossing powder is numerous and plentiful. I hate using it. But also because if you bend this, it will pop off. And that's what happened, was it got a little bit warped, you see? So I went, and then it popped off. So I inked it over with some black ink and was like, I'll address this at a different point in time. But that is why, because it acts just like regular embossing powder, which will also flake off something if you bend it around and snap it off. So if you are going to gild, use the glue. Use the glue, use tape. Don't use the embossing powder, but these are still great. Just know that if you receive the book that these come in, to not bend them, and you will be fine. Otherwise, I really like how these came out. I think they're really fun. You can't see it because I don't have anything white on hand. But there is some, like, stamping and inking on the acetate here, which is really fun. Just a little bit of like alcohol ink to add some grungy color here. I think it would look really cool like on top of like book page in a book. Would look really neat. So yeah, I really do like how these came out. I hate that embossing powder with every fiber of my being. But I have to use it like every 2 years to remind myself why it's still sitting in the box and why I hate it. Otherwise I forget. The prompt for day 12 is patina, and for that one we need these fantastically colored, delightfully patinaed banner tucks. I swear I can read, you guys. The problem is that I'm dyslexic and I'm trying to read my own handwriting, which is atrocious. But we did some really great inking and embossing on these. The lighting is very bright, so like I don't know if you can see it. Maybe this way. So we got some really great textures on here, some great stamping, and then a little arrangement here. And I haven't decided, because you could glue like a little bit of glue on the tops of both sides of these and have like a nice little tuck spot at the top of your page to like slide stuff into, or I might just glue the one side and leave the banner side open so that you can flip it up and then like do a little journaling, hide a secret picture or whatever in here. I haven't decided. It's very possible the second option is what I'm going to go with, but I love these. We have our little rusty like locks and keys. Well, not locks, key plates and keys. That's not the lock. Or, I mean, it is technically the lock because it's what goes over the lock. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I mean. So we're fine here. We also made our own patina glaze embossing powder mix, which was also really fun, and I love it. Look how great this is. I just like, it's so delicious. delicious. Look at this. Delightful. So many good textures, so many good colors. I love it. This is probably the brightest color thing I made in this entire challenge too. Let's see. For grunge, I made these little floating library pockets, which I just made delightfully grungy. You know, inked them up, stamped them up, did some embossing on there. Lots of embossing in this challenge. A lot more than I anticipated, but I'm not mad about it. I love embossing. That's like my favorite thing. And then we made these like little specimen fronts for them with some of that ultra thick embossing enamel, embossing powder. And we shattered it, so like the glass in the little specimen slide broke. That's what the idea was here. And I love how these came out. We also used some more of those little metal strips. You guys can see. It looks fantastic. It looks grungy. I love it. I love it a lot. And I'm going to keep saying that, so if you aren't prepared for me to say that I love it, you know, buckle up, because it's going to happen quite a bit through here. This is so good. Also, I'm going to keep saying that everything is delicious, and resist the urge to eat, because it's scrumptious. And then, day 14, the prompt was triangles. So we made little corner tuck spots that are triangle shaped, but also file folder styled. So like, you know, there's like the little case files, kind of, sort of, that's what's happening here. And then I added a paper clip. I'm not going to open all of them up. I added a little mini paper clip so that it would hold it closed. But there's also journaling space on the inside. So what you would do is glue the two long edges, and then you can tuck stuff behind it, and then you can flip it open, journal it inside. You're going to want to make sure that your paper clip doesn't get glued in anywhere in the process either. But yeah, that's the little deals that we made. We used some rub-ons, some of that patina color just to grunge up the paper a little bit. Now, you will see, I also use the ultra thick embossing powder on these so I can have more shattered glass, because at this point, I was obsessed with this effect, and I continue to be. But, interestingly enough, with these ones, because these have like 10 layers of that embossing enamel on it, I went like to town on it, like 8 to 10 layers at least on these. They all developed these little spots over a couple of days, which I'm not even mad about, because it just looks more vintage and grungy. Like some of the color is pulled up. It's just added to like the textures in here. And I think that it just makes these look even more aged. Some of like the embossing enamel has lifted underneath here too. This one got like the full effect of the spottage, and I like it, because like these daguerreotype images have their own like patinaing and like wear from age and time. I can't find one. I have a whole digital set in different sizes on my Patreon. It's a reward for my members, and I've been obsessed with them, so they are coming up, and I continue to use them because yeah, they're so fun to work with. Oh, I thought I had another printable. I have the little tiny guys. I don't know if that's gonna help you guys see what I'm trying to talk about here. Here we go. But see, like, the images already have their own, like, patina and age from over time. That I was like, oh, how can I replicate this? That's, like, my goal, is to figure that out. But, like, what's another good one? So there's, like, some of them have signs of aging. Others are really well kept. This photo is definitely aged. What's another good one? I think I already cut out the good ones. Oh, here's one. See, like, how that's kind of, like, cloudy looking? So, like, the fact that we got this like more obscured, murky sort of looking image after doing it so many times. I couldn't tell you why. I have no idea if it's just like a reaction to the so many layers, or if it's a reaction from the embossing powder to the ink that's on the printout. I don't know, because thinner layer pieces didn't have this reaction. So, I don't know. Either way, it's cool. I'm not mad about it. I'm actually really excited about it, because I like how old and grungy it makes everything look. After triangle, though, since I've been talking about it forever, we did snippets. And for snippets, I did a film strip snippet. So I made this little like envelope pouch, which also needs something to go inside. And kept it fairly simple because at day 15 was when I was like, you're doing too much for every single one of these and you're never going to finish making all your videos if you don't start getting a little bit simpler. So this was simpler. It still was a lot of work, but it's totally worth it. I love how these came out. They're some scrapbook paper that's been like inked up, splattered, embossed. And then I just did a little tiny cluster using some like coffee dyed cheesecloth, some moth wings, our little film strips here. We did some embossing on top of the acetate. And yeah, I love these. I love how these came out. I like that we got like the storyteller because like it's a movie strip, you know, like a film strip. So that would tell you a story. A photo would tell you a story. There's lots of different ways to like interpret it. She could be the storyteller. That would also be interpretation. If they were let to fly away. These came out great, and I love them. After snippet, we have swatch, and that's where I took a CD envelope. I thought I was going to use more of these. I have a bunch in the little basket I have set to the side for this. I used one, which is fine because I did the most on this one. So I taught you guys how to make a unified palette in the video. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out because I'm not recapping that lesson here. And we made a unified palette, like color wheel that we swatched out all the colors in the palette. It's a journal card, so you can journal on the back. I added a little moth to the front. It's on this glossy photo paper. This is what the envelope looks like empty. There's a little scrap of paper in the back there. You can see like all the alcohol ink, adding this grungy texture. I added some embossing powder on top of it, and it just looks like grungy, mossy goodness. It's fantastic. And then we just did a little cluster of leaves on top. I also used some more of that scraps of like photo paper to do the outside. And then stamped on top of it with some leftover, well, I used alcohol ink on the outside, and then I stamped over it with a gray ink, which shows up black because it's a dark color. And then we embossed on the outside. We did lots of cool stuff for this single envelope. And apparently we're cutting bathroom tile outside. I don't know. It seems a little late in the day to be doing it, but there's a little tab up here just for funsies because I tore it. So we added a little tab to the top. I think this is going to go on the page, like on this side, so it's a little flip out. Then you have a little card that you can get out of there. For day 17, the prompt was black and white. So I made these like these book moths. I guess I don't know what I would call them. These splatter book moths. Which, thank you guys, everyone who commented on that video. I struggled with this prompt, especially because it didn't come out the way that I was envisioning in my brain. And you guys were like, I loved it before you did anything. And I was like, well, maybe my brain was being the critic and I wasn't wrong. But I made these little cards, and they are layered. So there is a little splatter moth back here. There's a little fabric moth and then a little book page moth on top. They're fun. They have a sort of arcane feeling. They're also completely black and white monochromatic. They stand out crazy in this pack of stuff because they have no color to them and everything else is like grungy and gross. And then there's this very clean, still slightly grungy, but very clean, like black and white composition. But I really like these. I like how they came out at the end. I'm very satisfied with them. So we have Apothecary, A Strange Journey, and Arcane Secrets. And these ones got a little more like woo with their wording. It's only because this stamp is actually a butterfly in the background, but you can't see it. But this stamp always makes me think of like the Da Vinci like manuscripts with the way that like the scripting is and then just the edges and stuff. So like it got a little woo. But I'm not mad about it. I love woo. After that, the prompt for day 18 was photograph, and so we did lace and fabric, like, nope, just lace. No, lace and wing clusters. Oh my god, I can't read my own writing. Lace and wing clusters. So these are great. We painted up these like little stamped out wings, embossed them so that they would be shiny, added a photograph, and then continue to lean into sort of the memory theme, because by this point I had decided that the theme of this like thing was like moths and memory, and that's what I was going to make my book about. So like that's what I had sort of decided here. So I tried to like lean into wording that matched that. Before it was pretty random. And these are just delightful little easy make, like, lace and trim fabric type clusters. And I really love how these came out. Don't know how I'm going to use them. They might be like tag toppers. I haven't decided. But I love the wings. The wings came out great. Just really sweet. Oh, and we also added like some gold to the edge of the wings so they pop a little bit more. I don't know if I stopped to show you that on the other ones, but it's on all the other ones too. They're just so sweet. Like even the, I can see the gold. The like the wording is supposed to like sort of harken back to the memories in sort of a bittersweet way. So I really like it. After that, I forgot what day we were on. We're on day 18. Nope, 19. The prompt for that is moth-eaten. And we made these little moth-eaten fabric frame cards, which I still haven't decided where they're going to go. This is not their final form, but this is the final of what I made. So yeah, we have these little like moth-eaten frame. These moths are going at it. These are not fabric moths by any means, but they are today. And I use more of that plasticky mattress cover fabric that I had, because when you heat it up it like melts and deteriorates and looks all eaten up and grungy and delicious. I mean, not delicious, don't eat plastic, but like you know what I mean. So yeah, those came out great. They were easy, simple makes, and I really loved how these came out. And then after moth eaten, we have pattern. And for pattern, I made these collage board like pockets. They're like floating pockets. They're stamped. That was the pattern. The pattern was the stamping. And then I just went to town. See, we have a little moth pattern. Here we got like a little ledger nature pattern. That's the pattern. And then I did a little like collage on the fronts, and we have a nice like sturdy pocket. We used up a bunch of paper, like a bunch, to make these, and then we got to finish off the last little bits of this this metal strips. I forgot what they're called. These little metal strips. So yeah, and we got a bunch of great like pockets. Are like writing board sturdy. They're surprisingly sturdier than I expected, which like I don't know why, because it's layers of good like cardstock on top of paper. So it was gonna get nice and sturdy. More so when I folded it onto itself. But yeah, I love how these came out. I love the look of them. I think they came together really well. There's a lot to see. A lot of like visual interest. So yeah, just absolutely loving that. Also loving the idea of having like some floating pockets that you could also double as a writing board, because they're so stiff. Day 21, the prompt was spore, at which point I did like a homemade stamp out of some cardboard, like scrap, and did a spore print onto an envelope. And I will not talk about it. You have to watch the episode to hear all the shenanigans involved with that, but I did sort of fix the problem for myself by adding a mushroom stamp or a sticker after the fact. So I salvaged some of it in my brain, but they're just little mini envelopes that also need a little something in there. They're a nice little use of some scrap paper. We did some stamping with some paint, and then made a little like collaged cluster type belly band to hold it closed. Theoretically, yeah, there we go. So it just slides up here. I used some leftover bits of that photo paper with the alcohol ink on it, and then we did some embossing on this little like honeycomb die cut, and just, you know, put it all together. Made a nice little scrappy looking belly band to go on top. Oh, this one's the other way. It doesn't really matter. There's no direction. Envelope. And the last one also has a mushroom to tie into the spore theme. This one's the coolest. I love this one. And yeah, that's what we made for spore. For day 22, I made sliding circular tags. Let me show you. If you weren't familiar, these tags are cool. I love this. So this is laminate on top. There's actually like a leaf preserved under here. This is upside down. We have a moth on top. There's alcohol ink and gilding flakes in the laminate to add this cool effect. As you can see, you have a little like button brad here. And then this spins. And we have our little circular tag motif. This is the one that lines up the best. And then we have a little journaling space here that's like also nice and patina and delicious looking. And then when you open it up, there's a little pop-up moth that sits up. And like if you wanted to, if you were committed, you could like journal around it too. But it's just like all in all a very fun tag with lots of movement and interaction. These got progressively more off-center as time went on, but that's also fine. Put the moth in here. Delightful. This one is the most off-center, I believe. But I like it. I like that it's like sliding circles. You know, like they're going this way. Also, fantastic. Great grunginess. And the leaf, just chef's kiss. And then, ta-da! Little moth inside. So those were fun. This is probably the most interactive thing that I made during this whole challenge, which is actually sort of interesting because I usually make more slidey interaction type stuff, but I did not this time. I think I did a lot for Povember and was just like, yeah, just make some straightforward stuff. Although not to say that I won't make slidey things this coming up month to fill up this box a little bit more. For day 23, the prompt is vintage. And I made these little like page tab, page ender things. Do I have a piece of paper? I have a dirty piece of paper. But like, you know, you get to your page and you stick these out. And you could make this a tuck spot if you wanted to, or you could just glue it flat down. But then like the little tag parts will hang over the edge and peek out of your book. So you'll have little tabs. They're tag shaped. And I just use these vintage tags to do our tabs. So we have this one, which is fun. There's some like embossing in there. There's some great little inky leaves, little clusters, some of this like netting type trim. There's this one, says nature notes. I am going to probably, once I put these in the book, trim these down because they are outrageous, but fun. So this one is great. I think I went back and added more embossing to one of these. And it might have been this one. I don't remember. One of them I did go back and add more embossing once I got done recording. This one has a floppity-roppity leaf, so I have to be really careful with it because that one got a little mushed up in the bag. But all that means is that when it comes time to put this in the book, I'm just going to glue the leaf down to the page. Like the whole thing's going to go down. So it's fine. It'll survive, even though it is floppity-roppity. Oh, it goes this way, so it goes up top. So yeah, that's all. And yeah, there's our little guy. I like this little green moth. He's cute. For day 24, the prompt was quilt. And I made these little patchwork tags, which are fantastic. I also made them out of the scraps of the thing that I make the cover out of. So, ta-da! But I love these. I love how the green pops on here. This is like embossed in like metallic green. It is fantastic. And I use some more of those frames I have. And we just layered these up, glued them down. No sewing required, but we have our little quilted sort of concept art here. And then the back of these are just inky, like paper that I backed them on. So they can still be journaled on. So those are great. Day 25 is couples, and I took a really easy route that day because I could and I wanted to, so I did. And just made these like twin tags, this couple of tags featuring couples. So I'll bring this up here so you can see it better. So we have our moths in a jar, a couple of those, and a couple of here. These are like sisters. And you know, I thought about it actually. After I got done recording, we have our big mason jar here. Same thing. These are like basically identical. But what I was thinking was like this could be like a mother and daughter like initially. But then I was like, what if this is like the older sister and the younger sister? And then eventually there comes a time where like they both look almost identical in their older age. Like they look the same. And I was like, oh, well that's a little bit sweeter. Although to be fair, I should have done this in the reverse because it would have been like baby, adult, but this is what I did. So I also did that. And then I went back and crack these off screen. I try not to do a bunch of stuff off screen. I try to do everything like on camera, but sometimes I had the urge, and the urge was to go back and crack this embossing powder, which as you can see, this one I only did like 2 layers of the embossing powder on, and it didn't do all the spotting like that the triangle ones did. So I think it has to do with the amount of embossing powder on it that leads to that effect. After couples, though, we have day 26, and the prompt was labels. So I showed you guys how to turn a sheet of office labels into these grungy, like, little collaged labels, which are so cool. I absolutely love these. I'll probably keep one of them because I made a lot of them. And yeah, they're great. They took forever. There was a whole saga, a whole Chipotle saga. And the conclusion to that saga, or at least what I'm deciding is the headcanon, is that there was a Chipotle Fight Club. You don't talk about Fight Club, so they couldn't tell me why. But after Fight Club, my driver ate my Chipotle, and then they had to make me a new bowl. Saga complete. But no, I love these. I think they're so much fun. And really versatile, because look, you can see, like, it's the same label. It was all the same sheet. It did the same thing to every single one. Just little differences in the, like, clusters, but otherwise they're essentially the same. But on the different colors, they have these different vibes. I like this. It's a little wedding party. You know, so, like, this one, and this one all have different vibes. But they're all cohesive. So I really love how these came out, and I want to make more labels and just make up sheets and sheets and sheets of those. I'm sure my office won't mind. I don't think we use them. After labels, the prompt for day 27 was metals, where I made these gilded moth page inserts. So, like, they're meant to be, like, attached to a tab and then slid into a signature so that you could, like, attach a page or the other moth on the other side. I didn't do that for these ones because they're not going to be page inserts, but I explained the concept to you guys so you would know where the inspiration and idea came from. These have a different goal for them, but I used Belle's technique at Bellaboo Creations. She's also participated in this challenge. You'll see her videos and where she shows this. And I didn't get the same result until I added the embossing powder on top. And then I did. So, I don't know what I did wrong, but all I know is that it came out looking right. Because look how delightful that is. So it's just alcohol ink on top of gilding flakes. And for whatever reason, when I added mine, all the color just disappeared into the foil. But then when I added the embossing powder, it all came back in a big way. So, like, I am so, like, in love with how it looks now, and I cannot wait to show you guys where it's going in its final form. You're gonna have to wait, though. It's gonna take me a little bit. I'm not a fast crafter. Day 28, the prompt was drips, so I made these pink drip belly bands. Oh, it's not a cat hair. I thought it was a cat hair. It's just a line. That's how you can tell I've been traumatized by my cat. So yeah, we made a very drippy, like, little background. We masked off the moth so that it would, like, surround it and outline it. But then I made a sticky boo-boo, so I had to go back and cover that up. So I decided to cover up with some embossing powder, and that came out fantastic. I love it. I absolutely love it. Love how this came out. And then I added the book page. This one I did off camera because I was tired. Not gonna lie, but I added the book page for some added grunginess and just some more textures to go on top of that, because otherwise it was very flat. And yeah, these are gonna be really cool little belly bands. I cannot wait. I also love how shiny this is with the matte background. So fun. So many good colors. Everything mixed together, like, really well. Like, just, oh, I love it. Ugh. If I could recreate this on purpose, it would be so good. That is what we made for drips. For day 29, the prompt was fabric. I'm gonna get in here because somebody made something really tiny. Here we go. So for day 29, and I did not make these paper clips. I decided not to because I already have, like, 9 paper clips, which is a lot of paper clips. So I was like, don't paper clip these two. They would make excellent paper clips though. But I made these little mini envelope, little fabric backed envelope things, pieces. So they're little mini envelopes. You could actually stuff something in here. It's still a usable envelope. Or, well, I guess now it's a pocket because it's permanently open. There's some fabric on the back. The same fabric we used on quilt. Same fabric I'm using in the book. There's some stamping, some embossing. They are delightful. I got to use up a bunch of little scraps. And make little tiny envelopes. Ta-da! And then for day 30, the prompt was window. I decided to make a tuck spot, so this will get glued down to a page, you know, on the edge so that you can tuck something behind it. Or I might just do the 3 sides and make it a pocket. I haven't decided, but it is also a pocket, and it is this, like, window pocket tuck thing. So I made, like, a faux, like, slatted siding wall, and then used the frames to make our window, and our window into the background, which is just a botanical stamp. We inked this up with some alcohol ink, and used some of that patina grunge embossing powder that we made, embossing glaze that we made, to like grunge up the frame so it looks like it's like been old and gross from sitting outside, and some leaves. And I added just a really light dusting of gold wax too, just to pick out the edges. And our moth, of course. And I love these. I love how they came out. They also used up a ton of those little skinny strips of paper. So that was a great way to get rid of those and turn it into something cool, like an old wall. And yeah, I just love these. I like that we're looking into this little portal. Whatever I stick back here as a tag will be also really cool looking. So there's that. And then the last thing that we made for the final day of hashtag Moss and the Scratic, the prompt was files, and I made a matchbook that holds files. So you see it says classified, and if you open it up, we have our little like file tops, little file tabs that you could just sort of rifle through. I used up a bunch of scraps to make these little cards. We did some stamping, some already stamped pieces. We did some more stamping, so these can be like torn out and used. This can be treated as like a notepad for writing, or like, you know, you could tear them out to do some journaling. That's also an option. I love this. It wasn't like the big show-stopping piece I thought I was going to make for the last day, but I just like really love the practicality of this and how cute this is. Also got to use some of this like cool paper that I sprayed and stuff before, so that was a great use of that scrap. I also meant to stamp on top of these and I forgot, so I might come back and do that. I might not. This was made with the scraps of the scraps, which I didn't want to get rid of, so it's just a little bonus, little skinny matchbook that does the same thing, except I didn't do all the stamping. So there's a bunch of little strips in here that got salvaged as well. So I managed to use up all the scraps of the scrapbook paper that I used during the course of this challenge. So like, I think I talked about it a little bit where I talked about scrapping down to the last scrap. This is how, because I used up all those scraps, except for like maybe 2 little pieces, which will find their home eventually, probably this month as I'm working on more stuff. But that's how I end up using my scrapbook paper down to the last scrap so that I don't have a bunch left over when I get done crafting things. Can't say the same for plain cardstock scraps. I cannot seem to get rid of those no matter how hard I try. I'll show you guys my box that's left. Oh, and then I made a signature tag. This was not part of the challenge. I just made this like off camera one day. This is also going to go in the book. I'll talk about it more when I do the book flip through, but this is also in the box, so it bears talking about. It was an extra bonus piece I made. But here is my box of scraps. And while we have definitely made a significant dent, it's still full. It's still very full. Also, I have to figure out uses for this laminate as well, because I'm not wasting that. I will not be wasting the plastic. But yeah, that's everything we made for the entirety of Moss and the Scrattic. This took me a very long time to go through, so I hope that you guys enjoyed a little walk down memory lane, recapping everything that we made. I hope you enjoyed the challenge. I'm getting lots of good feedback from you guys, so I'm really glad that people have been out here enjoying it. I certainly enjoyed it. It was really fun. I cannot wait for you guys to see what's coming up next. It's also going to be fun, so stay tuned. I will be back making videos for the month of February. Not super intensive like I did this month because, like I said, your girl needs a break. She's tired. I'm gonna try to do at least one storycraft video this month, and we'll see what else I come up with. Maybe a couple craft with me's or something. But yeah, if you want to get more stuff from me, more content, more videos, I will be continuing stuff as well over on Patreon. I make videos there for them as well with cool things, as well as digitals. And then I was going to do my Patreon update announcement this month, but I got so bogged down with making videos for this that I didn't want to like eclipse the two, so I'll do that this month. So I'll make all my changes to Patreon this month as well. So you can still get in now while the getting's good. Not that the getting's not going to be good in the future either. I'm just restructuring some things on my Patreon. But yeah, that's it. That's everything I have for you guys on this one. Thanks for a wonderful challenge. It was a great experience. I'm happy to have done it. I'm impressed that I did it because there was a point where I didn't think I was going to make it. And then there was a point where I was like, I can't believe you made it. It was so easy. There was never a problem the entire time. And that's just how things go. For those of you guys who are still making your stuff, keep trucking. You got time. There's no time limit. Just because I'm done making doesn't mean you have to be either. And if you want to sort of check off finishing the challenge, there's lots of different ways to do it. You can take your time, stretch out the time frame for the challenge as long as you need till you finish it. You can do what other people are doing, which is doubling or tripling up the prompts to sort of get them down and knock them down a little bit, so it's a little less daunting of a task. Or you can just be proud of what you've done so far. That's also an achievement, because you did more than you would have done if you hadn't done it at all. But that's going to be it for me, you guys. I keep trying to end these videos succinctly, and I cannot do it. But I appreciate your faces. I will catch you guys all in the next one. Definitely don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. I'm going to be making more cool stuff, and I can't wait to see the stuff that you guys make as well. And until next time, guys, happy crafting, and goodbye!